Well, welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? My name is Guy Royse, and welcome to my humble stream. Tonight, we're going to be working on the Evercraft Kata. It's a Dungeons and Dragons-like clone domain model problem. You can find the Evercraft Kata if you just Google Evercraft Kata. It's the only thing out there named that. And I'm going to continue to test drive it in JavaScript tonight. So, I've gotten all the way up through. Well, let me go ahead and bring this up there. And hi, Grumpy Game Dev. See you there. Sorry, I was doing my intro and you said hi. Oh, cool. That's really cool. Excuse me. Well, if you run into any specific questions, feel free to ask. I, of course, know the kata really well since I wrote it. Yeah, here we go. Let me close some of these other tabs here that I don't need. So I have gotten to the very, very beginning of iteration 2. So iteration 1 of the Evercraft Kata involves having characters, giving them a name and alignment, armor class and hit points, make them so they can attack each other and they can actually be damaged, having their ability scores impact their attributes, and have them experience and level. And we've gotten to section 2 where we're adding classes. And so classes do all sorts of things, and there's some samples. I'm doing fighter, rogue, monk, and paladin. So the classics. You said gnome, but I think you meant paladin. But yeah, I want to be a gnome because I hate myself, my fellow players, and my DM. Yeah, I do have paladin already. Yeah, but yeah. So when I left last time, I had just added classes, and then I had done a little bit of test refactoring. I've done one very tiny refactor since then off stream, actually just before I was getting started. I was running into this sort of annoying thing in our specs where you know, if you look at like say the hit point spec, man, my mouse does not want to be clicky today. Right, so you want the hit points, you know, to be. Why is my mouse, my machine is super laggy today? I literally have a browser and a text editor, and that's it. What is sucking up all the resources? I mean, I got a terminal here, but it's doing nothing. Anyhow, so you got this annoying thing here. So, like, say your attack modifier here, right? It goes up as you level, but you know, I got to set the levels, but I'm constantly putting in experience points instead of levels. So I made a little I made a little helper function so that we can just say make hero make at level. And so I added that into this spec helper.js right here. And so the very simple little function there in the globals. And then I had to change my package.json to bring that in. So then I can call make level anywhere. And so I think I'm going to start actually with refactoring some tests to take advantage of this. So just to be clear here, let's go ahead and, we don't need this terminal there. Run all my tests. Make sure they're all passing. It's the Mac. Why can't I say that? Macpocalypse. Today is the Macpocalypse. That could be. That is a distinct possibility. So here, all my tests still pass. So that's good. So I am going to, for example, here we got this subject. Man, I hit a key, and then it goes, and I hit a key, and it goes. This is going to be the most boring stream if I can't get my machine to work. Let's take a look at Activity Manager. Let's see what all is going on. This is exciting, I know, but I can't be having my typing delayed. You know what I mean? Come on. This is a great sign. Oh, that could be a problem. Force quit. I had Discord running earlier. Maybe Discord didn't shut down. Well, it's an Electron app, so it might be sucking up the resources. Die, Discord, die. Firefox isn't really happy either. Yeah, I may have to. I think I'm gonna do this. There we go. I just closed down my monitor, which means chat now means I'm gonna have to look completely over here. It's like you're sitting beside me, right? So that feels a lot better. Yeah, there we go. I just need a new computer is what it is. Yeah, exactly. VS Code, Firefox, and Discord, so 3 browsers, yeah. Yeah, but one of them is Firefox and 2 of them are Chrome, so. Well, I got my streaming PC, which can handle the stuff fine, and so it's like, well, maybe I need to start coding on my streaming PC, but then I'm coding on Windows, and I've got a decade of, I don't want to switch off the Mac platform, so I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyhow. Actually, let's go ahead and, I still have Firefox going here. Let's, I've run into this problem before where it's the graphics card in this machine. It's just not beefy enough. And so when I go to like twitch.tv, it's doing a lot of graphics card accelerating, needing stuff, and then it ends up picking up a lot of resources just to process the video stream that I'm just wanting to monitor. So, but let's try it again. Now that we killed everything, maybe it'll be happier. Go to the creator dashboard. This is all on another screen, of course. Come on, you can do it. That's a bad sign. It went right to Stream Manager. And give it a sugar cube. Come on, Bessie, you can do it. I'm going to hide the player. I don't need to see the screen. And that'll probably help. Because then it's not so graphically intensive. Okay, it's responding now. Okay, so like I was saying, let's refactor some tests. So we've got this pattern throughout some of our tests where we're passing in experience points, and we really just care about the level. So let's do this one first since it's right in front of us. Call this level. And this is for first level. This is first level. That's first level. That is second level. So this makes the test a lot more expressive. Third level. Fourth level. Fourth level. And fourth level. Yeah. Now that's going to not work at all because we need to call make level subject comma data dot level. Let's see what that does. That all passes. That's good. So my refactor is successful. Let's break one of these just to make sure that it does fail for an expected reason. Okay, good. It did. So we'll go through and just change these XP things to levels where it makes sense. So that was on hero spec. This has got name, class, armor class. Attack modifier is level based. Hit points spec. Hit points. This is level based as well. So we'll call make level male level. Subject comma data dot level, and then get rid of this guy here. And then again, same basic pattern. Not super exciting of a refactor, but This will make our tests way more meaningful. Okay, there's the Constitution. And this would be level 3. Actually, these would all be level 3. Hello, Death Priest. Welcome to the stream. And Greendolf as well. I talked to you, but I didn't say hello. So hello, Greendolf. Okay, is this still passing? Is it all green? Yeah, that's a... You know, when you're doing that red-green refactor thing, you know, that cycle, there's like a trick in each one. And so you've got the... Like, getting to red is kind of tricky in a way because figuring out what the next test needs to be can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes. The green part's the easiest because you just need to make it pass. And the refactor part is the most likely thing to forget. Because you get all this head code, right? And then you're like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, I got this. And then at some point you get to the code, you come back to the code, or you get to a point where it's like, yeah, I should have not gotten this a long time ago. So it's always a little bit difficult. Hey, Jordan, how's it going? Shady Nagy, thanks for the follow. Thank you very much. But yeah, so there's, you know, figuring out the next test right is almost harder than making it pass. Making it pass is kind of the thing we know how to do. And then, you know, figuring out, remembering to refactor. Like, we tend to procrastinate it. And so, yeah, I've been there a million times, Grumpy Game Dev. Cool. Well, let's see where else we have to do this hit points level thing that we're kind of going through and changing. For experience, this is exactly what we want it to do. We actually are saying this experience means that level, so that's correct. Alignment isn't going to have anything in there. Attack and ability. Yeah, I think we're good. So that was this nice little refactor. Let's go ahead and commit it. I just need one terminal, not two. Thank you, mouse. Status git add dot git commit dash m. What did I just do? I just completely lost my train of thought. Levels greater than experience. There we go. I'll know what that means later. It'll be fine. So that's a little cleaner. The other thing that I was in the process of doing last Monday when we streamed this was I was in the process of taking things from Hero Spec and pulling them into their own spec files just because they were getting kind of noisy. Yeah, it'll be fine. Guy Royse, 2020. Yeah. And so we've got, you know, some of these I pulled over, like experience is you know, experience points and level are sort of related. Hit points, you have your hit points and your current hit points, and so those are kind of related. Alignment is just alignment. Attack is a whole other class. And so it might be worthwhile to pull some more of these out just to make these files a little shorter. Like attack damage and critical damage aren't too bad, but they do sort of fall into their own category. Attack modifier is, I know from the next test, is going to get a little longish. So why don't we look at the next test? Yeah, Speedway Soda. Yeah. Yeah, none of the finest. Actually, it's not a Speedway Soda. It's just a Speedway Soda cup. It's got Big K root beer in it because I hate myself and I want to die. No. Actually, it's diet root beer because I don't want to die. So let's take a look at the next spec. Well, what's the next requirement? So for race or for classes here, we've got fighter. So let's do the fighter first. Attack rolls is increased by 1 for every level instead of every other level. So the attack modifier changes. So we're going to change the attack modifier, which is why yeah, when you really hate yourself. Well, you know, it's keto, right? And has 10 hit points per level instead of 5. And so let's do this one. Let's do that requirement for fighter first. So which is goes by 1 for each level. Attack modifier defaults to 0. Goes up when hero is beefy. Goes down when hero is wimpy. Goes up on even levels. So we're adding another permutation here in things that affect the attack modifier. So right now your strength affects it, and your level affects it, and now your class affects it. So we've got 3 variables. I think we can do this all in this context here. We just need to add a class. So I'm gonna space this stuff out because I actually think this is like a coding faux pas almost. But you know, I'm setting up these tabular scenarios, and just being able to see them lined up next to each other would make it a lot easier to read. So let's do that. And you guys can hate me or, you know, unfollow or whatever if you think this is terrible. But hey Simon, how's it going? Thanks for the follow, Green Dolph. Always appreciated. I've been using a Windows machine all weekend to do maps for a D&D game. And so now my brain has been remapped as to which keys you hit to like go from word to word in the text editor and stuff like that. So, yeah. Well, you know, couldn't unfollow because you hadn't followed yet, but now you can. You know, it's in priorities, right? Okay. There we go. That way it can be right justified. Now that'll all still pass, of course, because I haven't actually changed anything. Have I finished the next Neverwinter AD&D yet? Oh, God. Did I play that? I can't remember if I played Neverwinter Nights. That was like the early 90s, wasn't it? I remember my roommates playing it in college. But I haven't actually played any of the D&D video games. I didn't play any of those things when I was younger. That was the 90s. I was playing text-based. I was playing Trade Wars. That was what I was playing. Yeah. I played a lot of Trade Wars and a lot of Civilization, the original Civilization, back then when I was in college. Wasted many, many hours on it. So, defaults to 0. Yeah, I remember those too. Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale. Yeah, that's kind of the goal of the kata, actually, right? That's the draw, right? So I want to create here a I want to add the class to this, but I know this is going to get really, really long. Let's see what happens. So this is all going to be class none. No, not that. There we go. Take advantage of VS Code's. There we go. That'll still pass because it doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's like I need to get the dice out and roll. Let's get the dice out and roll. Where are we going here? I should have my dice out. You know what I mean? So that way I can say what level should this guy be? 3rd level. We'll put them here for nice ASMR dice sounds. There we go. So yeah, they're classless because that is something that this system will do. And now I'm going to do this horrid thing here. Um, now if we make the fighter, and we'll say subject dot class equals data dot class. And so now we're a, first level fighter with a strength of whatever. That all still passes because it doesn't do anything. So defaults to 1 for fighters. Yeah, maybe there's a better way. I'm kind of struggle. I'm still a little bit struggling in how I want to organize these tests, because this is kind of, because we're going to add clerics and rogues and everything else, and this is just going to turn into this big thing. So you're doing your own C# version of the Yahtzee Kata that Ted was doing, and he got out your dice range you wrote 10 years ago. It was in Subversion. Do I even have Subversion on this machine? I don't think I do. I haven't done any Games Workshop stuff, so I don't know what the D66 is, but I did play Illuminati, or not Illuminati. I played that too, but in Nomine, it was like an Angels and Demons role-playing game. It's almost like Good Omens, and in that game you had a D666 roll, and if it came up, okay, so two, so it's like a die 100, but with two. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So they had a D666 roll, and what it was is you had 2 dice and a kicker, or and so you just had to you just had to get between 2 and 12, right? You're just trying to beat a number, and if the third dice was the degree to which you succeeded or failed, but if you were an angel and it came up 666, then something bad happened and it was clearly supernatural. And if you were playing a demon and a 111 came up, then it was clear something bad happened and it was clearly angelic or divine, and vice versa. So it was kind of a fun mechanic. So, but yeah, I'm not super happy with how this looks. And just because it's just this big wall of text. It's not telling me enough. And so maybe I could do describe. Is there a context? No, there's not a context. When a fighter, when classless. And so we could do this sort of test here. But then we get duplication in this bit down here. And maybe that's okay. We'll see how this looks. I mean, basically, it's like, do I put my hierarchy in a hierarchy, or do I put my hierarchy in a matrix? That's the problem. The problem is there's just too many permutations here. Actually, I hate this more. I'm going to go back to this. So we're going to just see the attack modifier defaults to 0. Goes up when the hero's beefy, goes down, goes up on even levels. Defaults to 1 for fighters. Thank you very much for the follow. I missed you there. It was electric something or other. But thank you very much for the follow. Defaults to 1 for fighters. We're going to ignore the beefitude and wimpitude. And it says it goes up every level. And so if you get a level 2 fighter, so this should be a +1. This should be a +2. Goes up more on higher levels for fighters. Now, I'm writing more than one test here, but I'm going to comment some of them out. And then we're not going to test that scenario there. Goes up with levels and beefitude. Comment those out. Level 1 fighter. We should have a failing test now. And we do. Electric Panopticon. That was what I missed. That's like that Judas Priest song, Electric Eye, right? No, Electric Eye was a Panopticon. Cool. We have a failing test. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We have a failing test. So let's go to the hero. You ditched Ted for my stream. Thank you, Simon. I'm very flattered. Was he doing Java again? So we go down here to attack modifier, which is return this dot strength modifier plus math.floor this dot level divided by 2. So for every other level, this all of a sudden is going to be fancier. Let's pull this on its own line. Strength modifier plus this dot level. We could do this dot class equals fighter question mark. Then do one math.floor. Actually, if it's a fighter, just use the level. This is kind of heinous a little bit. The dice rolls, you say. That's fair. That's fair. I'm doing RPG stuff. So this is an opaque line of code if I've ever written one, isn't it? It's wafer thin. It's so wafer thin. I can even make it a single line. Look at that. Look how neat and tidy that is. Yeah. Don't worry, that'll get refactored out soon enough. I could do this as a proper if statement and then sort of accumulate it, but I'm okay with it for now. And the ternary happens. Clearly, the ternary is happening first, right? No. What's going on? That is not a thing that's supposed to be failing. Did my attack not pass? I think I need to do that. Order of operations. That's my guess. Yep, that was the problem. Okay, well, let's go with that for now. Let's get it back up on one line. There we go. What's the next spec? Actually, I wrote a little too much code because the next test, if I uncomment it, it's going to pass. I did write too much code, so let's go back to hero here. Because I went ahead and said plus level. And it really should be 1. I did unwrite some of the code. It is now unwritten. So let it be unwritten, so let it be done. Now if I uncomment this, that should fail, whereas before it would have passed. And expected to received 1. That sounds right. So now we can unwrite the code. And then I'm okay with this last spec passing because it's just sort of a, 3's better than 2 sort of thing. And I've got a lot of tabs open here. Oh, need to give it the right value in the test. Okay. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So when we're fighters, it goes up. I think I want to add one more test. Nah, I was going to say I was going to add one more test for fighters saying, the strength impacts the fighters and test all the permutations. But it's really hard to test all the permutations here, and I'm confident I have all the right codes. So, because we basically have levels and strength and class. And I'm trying to avoid writing every single permutation, even though I probably, to be truly covering all the functionality, you would need to. I am confident it is probably fine. Yeah. So, obviously, I think out loud. A friend of mine told me I'm clearly, you probably realize this, but I'm a fairly extroverted person, which hence the streaming. And when you're dealing with extroverted people versus introverted people, you need to listen to them differently. An introverted person, you should listen to the first thing they say, because the introverted person has thought about what they're going to say and then told you what they have thought. An extroverted person, you should listen to the last thing they say, because they just thought about it with you right there next to them. So I'm thinking out loud. So today, Grumpy Game Dev, you wrote a stream helper that you'll use tomorrow. Simply indicates red, green, or refactor, each in its own color. Refactor's blue. Yeah, that's what I usually use too. And you can go between them with N for next and P for previous. And you found you could not actually write the business logic without tests, so apparently you're a TDD person now. TDD pod person. Welcome to the club. The cult, whatever we want to call it. So fighters and levels. I'm gonna add some strength here. I feel like I kind of have to. This is classless, wimpy, unleveled. It goes up for strong, high level fighters. So let's give him a 14 here. That should be a 6. We are Legion. Is it like, Simon, is it like the old school, like the basic and like first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, where you had different experience points levels for each class and everything? So it's like, well, if, my levels vary depending on what class I am and everything. Is it that sort of bonkers? Squishy class. Why didn't that pass? Because I missed a comma. There we go. That's better. Glass cannon. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, this is good because this is saying the strength affects it, but we're not going to test up and down. This is saying the level affects it. I think I'm going to go here and set this to 3 and make that a +3 and get rid of one of these tests. So we're thinking it defaults to 0, goes up and down with strength, goes up on even, goes down up on, doesn't go up on odds, even higher levels and beefitude, levels and wimpiness. I think we don't need this test here either. We're showing already that the strength affects up and down. Trying to hit that balance of hitting enough permutations, but not creating a lot of noise. So, cool. Well, that's attack modifiers for fighters. What else? It has 10 hit points per level instead of 5. So we're going to have exactly the same thing that I just complained about here. Yeah, each class different leveling for gold and training and advancement. Yeah, so it's like if you try to write code for all that kind of stuff, you end up just encoding a bunch of tables. Actually, that's what ends up happening with the Evercraft Kata here too. This attack modifier, you basically have an attack progression that you multiply by the level, and then you look up. It's like, well, for this class, what's the attack progression, and for this class, what's how many hit points per level, and for this class, et cetera, et cetera. As soon as we add our third class from Nun and Fighter, when we add Rogue, we'll start doing that stuff. So, which shouldn't be too far off because we need to increase hit points. Before we do that, I'm going to pull the attack modifier out into its own spec because hit points are in their own spec, and so it feels like hit points can be in their own spec. So could the other, maybe. Maybe not. Well, we'll wait. So let's do the same thing here that we did with the other one, and do some little formatting here. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Again, riveting things as we watch Guy indent text for great justice. There we go. Simon, so how was the implementation? What was good about it? Colon equals. How does F# use the colon equals? The only language I've used that has a colon equals, well, aside from J, which I'm pretty sure has one, but I haven't really used J. I've been around people using J, was Pascal. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I saw colon and equal. I'm reading a little too fast. Okay, that makes sense. So select all these. Class :none. And subject dot class equals data dot class. This should still pass. We haven't changed anything significant yet. Okay, that makes sense, Simon. Need that balance. Okay. Defaults to 10 for fighters. Fighter. Missed one. Probably easier to do this. There we go. So fighter level 1, constitution of 10, should have 10 hit points. And should have a comma there. Okay, oops, no. What are you doing? There we go. Let it rerun. There we go. Doesn't go down when damaged. So expect subject hit points to be expected 10, receive 5. So that's a correct failing test. So let's go to go to hit points, which is that's the spec. Let's go to the class, and we'll get hit points, base HP per level. Huh. Const fighter HP equals 10. And again, we're going to have that same. I'm not going to write too much code this time. Hey, Sirlash, how's it going? Good evening to you as well. I gather you're on the West Coast, right? And so Simon, you spent a lot of time in Excel back when doing this. So you would use spreadsheets to sort of build your table so you can copy and paste it and put it into code easily. It's going and going and going. Yep. So. Okay, so we need to look at hit points here. And I need to do the same thing that I did with this, where I say, we'll use the ternary again. And we'll say this.class triple equals fighter, question mark, fighter HP, else do that thing there. And that passes. So let's look at the hero hit points again. Defaults 10 for fighter. Let's have it go up. Goes up by 10 for each fighter level. So we'll make a level 3 fighter, and we'll expect that to be 30. That will fail. Now, Simon, that putting all that tabular data in code, I think that's totally legit. I agree with you there. When it's part of the rule. I mean, you could put it in a config file, which is a step down for code, but is it really going to change? And this isn't passing because I forgot a damn comma again. Because I'm an idiot. Oh yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, if it's actually in code, it's just compiled in the memory. Yeah, it would load faster, and it's going to be the same memory footprint, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, we set to 30. That's passing for the right reason. Go back to hero here. And instead of saying if it's a fighter, it's fighter HP times, oops. Call this fighter HP per level, because that's what it's going to become. Times this dot level. That should pass. Still not there yet, because really we need this math.max thing that's happening over here to happen for fighters as well. Go into the hit point spec and add another scenario. It goes up more for buff, high level fighters. Okay. I got to indent it by 1. Come on. Okay. Yeah, what I really need to do is get a faster PC. Part of the problem I've been having is that when I have Firefox running, it just slows everything down. Because I have a 2013 MacBook Pro that I'm using to code this on. And it has a 2013 graphics card, which means anything that's got any graphics at all in a browser just brings it to its knees. So, but that is passing. I guess I could just look at the chat on my my streaming machine, but then I have to look all the way over here, and it's just, I feel like that's like I'm not looking at y'all. It's bad enough when I'm looking over here when I really should be looking at the camera when I'm talking to you. So that passes, but it shouldn't because the test isn't done. Let's give it a con of 14, which would be a +2 per level. So that should be a 36 hit points. And that fails because I'm not adding a constitution into this. So I need to add the constitution modifier. And I have some very duplicated code here, or very closely duplicated code. This I will not tolerate. This is a hideous line of code. At least, the very least, I need to do something. I gotta do something with this. Let's do this. Let's try this. Let's make a little helper function. Call it hit points per level. Let's even make it a property getter. What the hell? And it takes let's pass it a does that help? Because basically I want to put this bit of functionality in there. Right? I want to do this, but I need to pass. I think I need to pass this in here. Pass that in. But okay, I'm gonna wait. Not ready for that refactor yet. What I'm gonna do instead is I'm actually just gonna use if statements. Let's see, if this dot class equals fighter, then do a thing, else do another thing. return in both cases. In fact, I can just do this. Does that work? Yeah, it's just asking, Serialize, you're asking if I need the else. The answer is no, I don't. No, I don't. I actually did the one-line if. That'll do for now. It's a little ugly. Rogue's going to change this, I think. Once we add Rogue, I'm going to go in and I know the refactor I'm going to do. Because we start seeing there's a pattern to this data. We start seeing this pattern to this data. So like the fighter, they have one for each level. Rogues and non-classless have a attack roll of 1/2 their level. Fighters have 10 hit points per level. Rogues have the same as the default. And then the monk. So we can start making a table for these things. That's a trap in this kata, actually, Simon. You're suggesting polymorphism, and I could make a subclass to hero called a fighter and a subclass to hero called a monk, and that'll work. It works actually quite beautifully because you'll create a little polymorphic function that says get base hit points, and then just polymorphically calls down and gets what you want. But as soon as you add race, then you've lost any other inheritance, and race also lends itself to inheritance. There's ability modifiers, armor class modifiers, bonuses to attacks, and so there's a whole bunch of. Do I have multiple inheritance? I mean, I can do like a chaining thing, but I can't. Did that change with ES6 JavaScript at some point? I missed a memo. It's possible. I'm going to Google. You've made me want to Google this now. So JavaScript, multiple inheritance. You still end up with MDN. I know there's patterns you can use to do this. Yeah, there's a Stack Overflow question. I'm sure it's great. Hang on, I saw something here. Mixins, javascript.info. You can monkey patch, yeah, but you can't do multiple inheritance. It's not like in C++ where you can do like mix-in classes to add behavior, or in Ruby where you can do modules. But that's okay. I've done this without doing inheritance. It is tempting at times. And this gets cleaner because what happens right now, this is kind of ugly, but what's going to happen, and maybe I'll go ahead and do the refactor here since we're talking about it. What we can do is we just have sort of a, I call it class data. That's not a great name, but it'll work for now. And then we can have that be grouped by none and fighter. And then those have objects associated with them. And then here we'll have the HP per level. We'll call it hit points per level. Now we'll call it HP per level. And so this has a 5 and this will be 10. And we'll call this class data like that. And then in our hit points calculator here, we can, instead of saying if it's a fight or if it's some other thing, we can say, you know, data equals class data, this dot class, and then we can just return, we can do this calculation down here and say data dot HP per level. And now we're driving through data. We get default interface implementation in C# now, which isn't going to get totally abused and missed in all sorts of fantastic, awful, easy at all. Well, yeah, I guess if you mean by multiple inheritance, you mean interfaces, then yeah, you can easily do that in JavaScript. But I'm actually not sure how to approach this problem doing that way. It's an interesting thought. I need to think about it more, which I'm not going to do on stream because no one wants to sit here and watch smoke pour out of my ears. But well, these keep it in, but still, I'm going to stick on this path for the time being. We got hit points, and then we've got for the other one. What was the other one that we had for this? It was attack. It was in the attack modifiers. I think I'm going to create a helper. Yeah, I think this will work. Yeah, there's Swift has a default interface method kind of thing happening too. I think they call them protocols. And you can do some really cool stuff, but it gets hard to wrap your head around after a while because there's so many layers of indirection it gets hard to reason about. That's not a bad thing necessarily, it's just that's what happens. I'm going to create a class called, I'm just going to call it data.js. And we're going down the path Simon suggested for the Warhammer stuff, which is we're going to take this data that's in Hero up here, and we're just going to put it in one place. And we can say module.exports equals this, and that'll do it. And then in our hero, we can require the data. My machine's getting sluggish again. /data. Data is a terrible variable name now that I'm doing this. And then here we can say, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much. And now we're pulling this out of a Yeah, I see what you're saying, Simon. Yeah, polymorphic composition where, yeah, because you've got a default and then you can mix in the things that you need to. Which one is not passing here? Oh, data, yeah, data is already being used. Class data. Call it that for now. Let's see if that passes. Expected 5 to be not a number. So it'd be this dot class. That's what's wrong. There we go. Now we're getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Yeah. And so then the other one where we did this, so we don't need these guys anymore. Was in a tag modifier right here. So we can put that in the data as well. We'll call it a attack progression. So if this would be 1/1/2. And this would be 1. That's of course still gonna pass because I haven't changed anything in the hero yet. But what I can do now for attack modifier is strength modifier this dot class equals fighter. So it'd be this dot be class data. This dot class dot attack progression times level and that would be all the math dot floor. So rounding down. Does that work? Am I thinking about this right? I am thinking about this correctly. Hooray! Okay. So what do I want to call this? So this little bit here is kind of ugly. And I feel like I could just say class data here. Although that's again a terrible variable name, but we'll get better variable names here in a bit. And just return this. That'll work because we can say this dot class data. That's a little better. Oh my God, this is so slow. It's got to be the browser. Okay, so that still passes, and it makes this a little tidier. Class data is a bad name, but we'll stick with it for the time being until I come up with a better one, or if you all come up with a better one, I'll be happy to change it. Yeah, that's better. Slowly getting there. So now this is again more of a formula, and we're just pulling another variable out of another source. Class features. Ooh, that is better. I can always count on you for the good names, Grumpy Game Dev. I could just call them features, actually. No, they are specifically class features. That's actually a good name for this as well. That's not really a class. It is very much a constant. It's kind of weird pulling a constant out of there, but we'll go with it. Like that. There we go. Those feel better, more well named. No, Grumpy. We're not doing Java. That's not how we roll here. That's when I'm doing Java. I'm actually tempted to take this and just have this be the place where all the constants live. But not right now. Not yet. Save that off. So we've got fighter working. We need to add rogue. That's where we're at next, right? So fighters do all the fighters things. They can kick ass and take names. Excellent. Rogue does triple damage on critical hits. Ignores an opponent's dexterity modifier, if positive, to armor class when attacking. Adds dexterity modifier to attacks instead of strength. And cannot have a good alignment. Well, that'll be fun. So I think this here, the crits, that turns into a crit multiplier that becomes another class feature. And the other ones have a doubling, and the rogue has a trebling. For the well, that's one of them. Can't have a good alignment. That's a restriction on when we set the alignment. If you're a rogue, we can't set your alignment to good. If you're good, you can't set your alignment to rogue. Well, that's basically what it is. The triple damage is backstab. That was a simplification of the backstab ability from 3rd edition D&D. Let's do the crit thing first, and I think we have something that already verifies that on the hero. Got the class, the armor class, the attack modifier, the attack damage, and the crit damage. Yeah, so here's how the crit damage modifies. Let's just put the exception in here. Describe when a rogue we'll say subject.class equals rogue. That'd be in a before each, of course, guy. Actually, just make that all one line there. Yep. And then we can say, and basically duplicate these tests. Here it defaults to 3. And that one is not true. Now, is it? What's the requirement? Adds a dexterity modifier attacks instead of strength, but not for attack damage. Okay. So when they're strong, that's still true. Can't go below 1, that's also still true. So it defaults to 3. Append these tests here. Which comes first, the rogue or the non-good alignment? Well, my plan is to just look at whatever it is currently, and then do the validation either way. So if you try to set the alignment to good and they're already a rogue, then that'll fail. And if you try to set the class to rogue and the alignment's default is good, then that'll fail. So that's how I was going to do it. If a body falls in the woods and there's no one there to see it, does the rogue get an additional attack modifier on the next opponent wall? Well, so you got to set alignment to test the rogue, but you also have to set rogue to test alignment. And so there's two tests there. At least that's how I'm going to approach it. Cleave. Oh, okay. Let's see here. So that is failing as it should. If the hero is beefy. So let's go to, let's close some of these tabs here. Got a lot of tabs open. So crit damage is math.max 2 plus this strength modifier times 2. Or 1. Okay, so it doubles the strength modifier, adds 2. Interesting. Well, let's just start coding stuff and see what happens. Let's see if class. I find myself wanting to do the same thing that I did in the other one, and create a multiplier here. I feel like I might be jumping ahead, but in data, it would be really easy to put, crit multiplier. For the none would be 2. It'd be 2 for them as well. And then we create a rogue. I know I'm just waiting for me to type rogue as rouge. It's so easy to do. And then in hero, down here, instead of saying that, we can say it's 2 it'd be let multiplier equal class features dot crit multiplier. And then it'd be the multiplier like that. So it's saying you get at least 3, and then you add your strength modifier also multiplied by 3. So it'd be 1 tripled. And then it must be at least 1. So that still passes. It feels like there should be a cleaner way to do this. So like it'd be 1 plus strength modifier times multiplier. This would probably work better. Let's try that. Does that still pass? Yeah, that's actually a lot cleaner, which means I don't really need to assign this to a variable anymore. I can just inline it. There we go. A rogue and rough rouge armor, yeah. The span syntax. Are you talking about F#? Or are you talking about JavaScript? Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Can you do the ... the spread operator in an object like that? Does that work? Does that take the object that's inside of it and head out? Cool, I didn't know that. Well, let's do that. That's a great idea. So const defaults equals that. And then here I can just do ... defaults. Cool. That is way better. Thank you. I learned something today. And then there's that. That way we're just coding the exceptions. That is super cool. I didn't know that. I've always just used it for arrays. I didn't know it would work with objects. Sorry, I'm all excited. I learned something. It's great. I just kind of want to watch it. I'm like, where else could I use this? Have I been missing out on this feature? This so tonight has you have made it a win, Grumpy. It is most fantastic. Okay. So we got the multipliers, and I think we've made it work with all the scenarios, honestly. It still goes up when the hero is beefy. So 1, so it'd be 3, or hang on, 1 plus 2 for the 14 would be 3. So this would be a 9. So that's showing the beefiness still affects the crit. This would be taking, yeah, and then this would take it below 1, but it would still be a 1. So you're only going to do 1 on a crit. Yeah, there's before and after. That's right. My life is now divided into 2 parts. Hence is the arbitrariness of categories in many scenarios. Okay. Wow, that's a lot nicer. That kicks muchos asses. Okay, well, what else do we have on the rogue? Let's skip that one for now. Adds dex modifier to attacks instead of strength. That feels like... let's do that one. That feels like we could... yeah. That feels like one that could be interesting. We could probably make that programmatic as well by having... In essence, I haven't ran the test yet, but I'm gonna commit. And then I will noodle on my thoughts in the code, and then we'll go back. Added fighters, started rogue. I've got I didn't put fumbles in there, but I did put in 20 always hits. There's actually a pull request to make that more explicit that I need to merge in yet from Cadmos. So what I'm thinking here is that we could have another default, which would be attack ability. And we could just make that like strength. And because this is JavaScript, we could then, in here on attack modifier, instead of saying this.strength.modifier, we could say this dot, and then put in the attack ability feature and pull out the modifier for the appropriate thing dynamically. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And that would say if monks add their wisdom to the attack modifiers, which I'm not sure if they do or not, then it makes it more dynamic. You should do hey Simon, you should stream the Games Workshop stuff. That would be entertaining. I'll watch. But looking ahead, it looks like the rogue is the only one that has this ability. So genericizing it, making it data-driven, I don't think makes sense. So I don't think I'm going to do that. So let's take that out of the data. It's just sort of noodling anyhow. And in the hero spec, we simply say, we need to this goes up 4. I love it when I always find typos after the fact. Defaults to 0 for rogues. Give them a class of Rouge. Level 1, strength 10, attack modifier should be 0. Let me bring my tests up so I can see them. It's amazing what you store in your head, isn't it? For that kind of stuff. And then we're going to make the rogue stronger. Does not go up when rogues are beefy. Beefy. All of a sudden I want Taco Bell. I can't have Taco Bell. So it should still be a 0. This test is going to fail. Okay, to make that pass, we need to make this attack modifier function a little smarter. And I think this is just going to be a good old-fashioned if statement. If this dot class equals Rouge, actually for now I don't need that, it's just this. Yeah, that is kind of the worst part of that, isn't it, Simon? I guess I could say, welcome to... Yeah, it doesn't get any better. You know, they talk about mental plasticity, and it does drop as you age, which is just a very fancy way of saying you get set in your ways. It takes a lot of effort to get to not allow that to happen. Well, on the plus side, using your brain all the time helps. So that passes. I just want to, provide the cold hard truth, Nobody gets out of this place alive. Does go up when rogues are fast. We'll say subject dot strength dot score, not strength, dexterity. Dexterity guy, come on, get ahead in the game. Goes data.dex. That's probably going to fail a lot of things because dexterity will be undefined. Yeah. And now I'm thinking, I wonder if I could use that defaults thing. I think I could. See, Grumpy, you've given me a golden hammer. I think I want to have the attack modifier always be explicitly placed there because that's a... Because that's a thing, right? Because that's the thing that we're actually testing. So, and then here we can put, we're changing the strength. And here we're going to change the level, but not the strength. Does that still pass? No, they'll still fail because the dex isn't being set properly. There we go. Okay, strength doesn't need to be defined here, nor here. We're getting there. Still failing there, some of them. Here we want to set the class to fighter. These guys can all be defaulted. That can be defaulted. Yeah, this is nice. None of that's defaulted, except the dex. Class of rogue. Level, strength, those defaults. This is a lot nicer. Now I can get rid of all these spaces. Now I don't have this compelling urge to make it all aligned. Let's see if those pass. Oh, let. And defaults. Okay, so we got one test failing now. Does go up when rogues are fast. Okay, good. We got the failing test we want. So we're doing good. We're doing good. So let's go into hero here then. And this be this dex dot modifier plus that. That'll pass. That's kind of ugly. So I think what we want to do is say let ability, let modifier equal if it's class rogue, then it's that. Otherwise, it's strength. So we'll use a ternary here. And then we'll say return that plus modifier. That should pass. So the worst thing is, if I'm remembering things from my teenage years now, then in about 5 years I might start remembering VB6 syntax. Well, that passes. That's good. Okay. Cool. I think. Yeah, that's a lot better on that test. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hanging out. I always appreciate it. I mean, I know it's late for you, and I'm just glad I'm not the only night owl out there. I need to start getting to bed on time myself. So have a nice night, and I'll see you next time. Okay. Yeah, this attack modifier is getting long. So, well, I think I have that capability tested now, right? Adds dex instead of strength. Cannot have good alignment. Ignores an opponent's. Let's look at the good alignment one. That looks easier. Actually, let's step back and look at our code, because I'm kind of feeling like this hero is getting kind of long. It's not terrible, but the only reason it's as short as it is because I've got these little one-liners here. It'd be nice if I could break this up somehow. I'm not sure what that would look like. I mean, we broke the tests up, but I'm not sure what it would look like to go further. I mean, I guess that could be some sort of mix-in, like Simon was suggesting earlier. That might work. Oh, my streaming machine has an update. I really need to turn those off when I'm streaming. Seems like Adobe Creative Cloud always has an update when I'm streaming. They have a couple a week, it seems like. So, let's do the alignment check. So, we have an alignment spec, and so this should be good. So, describe alignment. It defaults to neutral. Can be good, neutral, evil. Cannot be an invalid alignment. Hence, it cannot be good when let's do this. Describe when hero is a rogue. And then before each, hero class. No, not HTML table rel element. Hero equals rogue. So that sets it up. It can be there we go. We'll scarf that there. And say it can be good, neutral, and evil. It cannot be good. It's not hero.class, it's subject.class. Let's make sure these guys here pass first. So the neutral and evil test should just work. Yeah, okay. Now let's pend this. It cannot be good. Put that in single quotes. And it should say rogues cannot be good. And so we have one failing test. Expected to throw, but it didn't. So now in alignment, we can say here, okay, so if it's found there, then we're good so far. If it's not found, then throw. And we say if this.class equals rogue, and alignment equals good, then throw rogues cannot be good. Oh. Needs to be in quotes. It needs to be capitalized. Oh, that was easy enough. And then we need to do the same thing for classes on the other side of the fence there. So we need to say describe when hero is good, yeah, well, yeah, Pomp Rocks, you're right. 80% of the time misspent on the tests, but down the road it pays off. This is just, I think, how it's supposed to be. When the hero's good, subject dot alignments equals good. Oh wait, that's the wrong place. This is the before each. Yeah, like that. That sets the alignment to good. And then we say it can be all these things, but it cannot be the other thing. So this is just like the other test. Cannot be a rogue. And take that guy out there. And this is going to say rogues cannot be good. So this is basically the same scenario here as we did in the other. It's just the inversion of it. And so we can say if this.class equals rogue and alignment. That should pass now. Now we're just, this is sort of like the evil twin of that. that does feel like duplication, which I'm not super happy with, but I don't have enough yet to refactor it. Well, I'll probably end up with some sort of function that says, is class alignment combination valid, or something along those lines that I can use to verify that interaction. Or verify, so I can sort of wrap that all in one place. Like you just pass in the class and the alignment, and it can apply all the rules. But for now, I think we're okay. How are we doing on time? We've got about 20 minutes left, maybe 15. Let's see what else we have. Ignore opponent's dexterity modifier if positive armor class when attacking. I don't want to do that yet. That sounds hard. I think my machine's getting really laggy too. I'm going to shut my browser down again. Maybe that'll help. I feel like I want to. I'm going to commit. That's what I feel like I want to refactor this code around. It's getting messy, and there's some duplication I need to pull out, but I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. So. Mostly rogue. There we go. So okay, so I think I may be able to tidy this up actually. I actually think the validate class alignment thing that I was talking about would help here. So let's try that. Let's do a validate class and alignment, and this would be class, and this would be alignment. Actually, let's do validate alignment first. So I got a little bit of an idea here. I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. But what I'm thinking here is that I can for starters just do this, right? And so then on alignment, and then I can take this bit down here. So it looks for it in the valid alignments list. If it's not found, it throws an exception. Otherwise, it returns it. And this allows us to do sort of like an inline validation. So up here, we can say, you can just make this a one-liner and say this dot alignment equals validate alignment, like that. This dot underscore alignment. And then we're down to one line, but it doesn't take care of this scenario here. We could still do that down here. Yeah, actually that still works. And then we can do a validate class. It looks very similar. And I can take class, and then it can look just like this here. Except it'll return class. And then up here we can say we can make this a one-liner again. Like that. And let's see if that still passes. Three failed, 45 failed. What the hell did I break? Oh, this dot. That's what I did. That's what I'm missing. That's better. And then I guess I could say validate class and alignment here. And that allows us to do this. Yeah. And then we can just call validate class and alignment, passing in alignment, this.class and alignment, like that. Same idea here, except it's going to be class and this.alignment. Now we've got one check. We got rid of that duplication. And then let's inline this. Don't know if I like that or not. Let's do a validate in list. Maybe, I don't know. I'm passing the list and the value, and yeah. Let's try that. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this looks. I don't know if I'm going to like this particular one, but it can basically do what's here. Except we're going to replace this with a list. List.includes value. If list does not include value, throw and then this would be error. Does that help at all? We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. So this dot validate in list. That's the list, the alignment, and the interpolated string. Actually, that's not too bad. I like how that looks. I like how that looks a lot. I like that quite a bit. Because it's pushed all the ifs into one place. That's what I like about it. That's actually, yeah, I'm really happy with that. That turned out way better than I thought it was going to. I wonder if we could do... I wonder if we could do something similar with like a validate class and alignment combo. Like we call this validate class and alignment, and this is going to turn into a whole series of if class is this and if blah 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 blah, right? And I wonder if there might be a way to do that as well, but I don't think we need that yet. It's probably getting a little too far ahead of myself. But yeah, that's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I'm pretty happy with that. And now I'm kind of wondering, do I need an alignment class that understands that it has values and can validate? That's probably overkill, but I'm trying to figure out ways to sort of pull some of this stuff out. Because this is, I mean, it's 85 lines long. It's a little long. Is there ways that I could pull this out into like sub-heroes or hero chunks to break apart this functionality? That's the thing I'm noodling on. This is what always happens when I do this kata at this point. I try to come up with some way to break apart the hero to make it into smaller chunks. And so, right now I've got, abilities, for example, do that. But maybe I should have a hero on alignment equals, alignment, a new alignment, and then have an alignment class that you could say, when you ask for the alignment hero, it'll return good or neutral, but when you set it, it delegate it all to that class and do all this behavior. I think I'm going to experiment with that idea and see if it's something I like, but I'm going to commit what I've got here before I do that. Better validation of class and alignment. And push that up. Oops, not there. Okay. So I could end up doing that with class and alignment, and then have all the validation be sort of in its type. I'm not sure what this is going to look like. I feel like I'm pushing JavaScript to its limits here, possibly. But let's create an alignment. Now, an alignment's going to have to be part of a class, right? It'll have to do that. Because the alignment needs to be able to see the class, and the class needs to be able to see the alignment to be able to validate. Okay, I've just answered my own question on whether this is a good idea or not. It's a bad idea because class and alignment are sort of joined at the hip because they need to validate against each other. And so they are part of the character. Are there other parts of the character that we could pull out, or the hero that we could pull out into sort of their own thing? Like level and experience are very tightly coupled. Although there's not a ton of behavior around those, so that doesn't really matter. Because get experience points is, you've got the add experience. Maybe we'll play around with that. That might be kind of interesting. Because there's no validation around that I'm aware of. So let's do that. Are we all current? Yeah, we're current. So we'll go a new file. We'll call it level and xp.js. And we'll need to bring it in here. Const level and xp equals require / level and xp. And level and xp will just be class level and xp module dot exports level and xp. And then from the hero, we can get let's just start copying some code over here and see if we can make it play together nice. And we'll get the add experience here. Let's just call this experience. I think that's a better name. Which means we can call this points. And we call this add points. And then up here in hero, we have this in our constructor. So we want to take some of this constructor here as well. And we just want to set the XP to 0 initially. And XP per level can go up there. That can go right there. And let's rename this experience. Export that. Here in Hero, we'll call this experience. And then instead of having this dot underscore XP equals 0, it'd be equals new experience. And we'll just call that, instead of underscore XP, we'll call this experience. Okay. So now when we ask for the level, we can just say return this dot underscore experience dot level, like that. And when we want the points, we can say this dot underscore experience. Come on, guy. We just return that dot points. And then when someone wants to add experience, they don't do it on here. They do it on the other thing. That will definitely make something fail. That makes a lot of somethings fail. So we got constructor, sets the experience points to that. Level is going to be this dot points divided by XP per level. That's going to be this dot underscore points. So this guy has the behavior he needs. We just need to wire it up correctly now. Yeah, so subject to add experience, which is happening all over the place. But firstly in spec helper, so we can see here dot experience dot add points. Actually, just add, I think, would work. That would be an even better name. Oops. Okay, so lots of places where subject to add experience is not a function. Okay, so need to fix that, right? Need to fix that. This sounds like a job for global search and replace. Okay. Okay, that makes sense too. Experience dot add. We'll see. I'm not completely convinced I'm going to like this, but I've introduced a law of Demeter violation, is what I've done. Yeah. Well, actually, it's regardless of success or failure. I'm making all the changes, but I don't think my number of tests are, the number of fails is changing. Cannot read property add of undefined. Have I spelled experience wrong? I probably have spelled experience wrong. Oh, no, I didn't change it there. Gets experience. Turn this dot underscore experience. That'll make it pass, I think. Sure, it'll make it pass. Does Chaosium work that way? I feel like I'm losing my geek cred. People are bringing up all kinds of stuff I don't know tonight. Expected 10, received undefined. What am I doing? What have I broken? This might be the code's way of telling me that I've done something horrible, and heinous, and I should just keep calm and get reset -- hard. Which I think is what I'm going to do. So. Oh, that's a fun way to do that, Grumpy. 8, 9, undefined 11. That's right. Although it's bugging me, this should work, surely. But it's failing in weird places I wouldn't think it would. Which makes me think that which means I've got something weird going on. So, looking at this guy here, it hits more easily. Yeah, so why expect defender hit to be true? Why would that be false? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't touch anything around that. Yeah. Not in this project. It doesn't have any async in it. Although that is so easy to do. So easy to do. So I think, let's look at attack.js. I probably... probably like it's something here. Okay, this is in expected received to be expected. Line 96 of attack modifier defaults to 0. I need a stack trace is what I need. I don't have debugging set up in this either, so this is getting difficult. I don't know what it is. Drinking the last tiny bits of root beer water will probably solve that problem, though. Subject.attack modifier. So make level. Okay, so in the call to make level. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we're making them a particular level. So I got my little global helper here. Where's spec helper? hero.experience.add. And I wonder if what's happening here is experience is like not defined or something on the hero. I feel like I've got a typo somewhere where I've spelled the word experience wrong. Because it's getting not a number. I know when I find this, I'm just going to... There it is. That would be I hit Command V, and I didn't hit Command V. I just hit V. And we're good. Yeah. Obviously, I meant V. That's totally what I meant. That was totally on purpose. I was just testing everyone that's watching. That's what I was doing. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now the question is am I happy with this? And I don't know that I am. Because I got to expose this experience object. And then, you know, it's sort of giving me, it's giving him complexity that's making him simpler. It's making the hero simpler. But then I have all these laws of Demeter violations. Yeah, people are watching. Ha ha ha. Yeah, fair. Yeah. So the pattern I'm doing here is then encouraging my other code to have laws of Demeter violation. Or I need to do something like add experience here. And instead of and then basically say this dot add experience add, and then however many points it says. I can do something like that instead, and then I'm just sort of hero just becomes a wrapper with a lot of parameters that delegates to other things, which breaks it up, but I don't know that it makes it any better. Yeah, that's the problem. Is the hero is a God object. But the requirements really push it that way, and so that's the struggle that I'm having. I don't really like the thing that I've done here with experience as its own thing. I mean, I like what it can do for the hero, but I don't like what it does to the rest of my code. The clients of the hero. The hero could turn into like just a thin interface that just delegates everything to helper objects. But then there's still all this complex interweaving of rules between all the things in the hero. So yeah, I'm feeling a little stuckish. And so this is, like you said, it might be shower thought time. So, yeah. Well, functors. There you go with your functional programming. I don't know very well. Monads. Are you going to define monads for me again? But they are inherently linked. So I am going to go ahead and I think I'm going to do a git reset. Just make sure this is the only thing that I did. I'm gonna restore this. I think this is, for now, is a failed experiment. it is gone. RM live experience. Now it's gone. And I'm going to call tonight and think about this. And then when I come back to this on next Monday, we'll see what I've come up with. So. So cool. Well, I think I'm going to call it here. I've been going for a good 2 hours, and it's as we are fond of saying, it's pumpkin time. I'm going to turn into pumpkin, so I need to get to bed in about an hour, and so I got to take my meds and all that kind of stuff. So I need to call it here. Let's see, whom shall we raid? Normally I do that. Let's bring up Firefox here so that I can do that. I have Firefox open already. Let's just do it here. Twitch.tv. Go to. No, not that one. Stream Manager. Thank you, Code. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. Let's see who we can find here to raid. Let's do raid channel. Let's look at let's see who's doing stuff with the live coders. We can see who's streaming right now. Who's Illuminated Space? They look like they could appreciate two extra viewers. Mature audiences only. I don't know. Does anyone have a preference? Yeah, it is a little sparse, isn't it? Oh, do we, Sean? Yeah, I know. I know all those people. So, have we met, Sean? Because I'm not connecting your username to a real name. If we have that many people in common, we've probably met, and I'm not connecting it. You see me at KCDC. Saw some of my talks. Yeah, it was COVID really sucks this year. I haven't gotten to go to hardly. I've traveled to I think 3 conferences and that's it. I did Code Mash. Okay, I'll follow you back. Yeah, I did Code Mash and I did NDC London, and then I did South Florida Developers Conference, and then everyone stopped traveling. That said, there are plenty of virtual conferences. Yeah, I know Chad pretty well. Well, not well, but I know him professionally. He's fun to hang out with. I got to hang out with him and his wife at South Florida Software Dev Conf, so that was fun. So are you in Louisville as well, Sean? I will be as well. Okay, you're in Tulsa. I had a roommate in college who was from Tulsa. That was a long time ago. I think he's in LA now. But anyhow. So cool. Well, did you just follow me recently? Okay. Did you just follow me recently, Sean? Because well, here. Let's just pull back the curtain entirely. Notifications. There we are. Follow. Cool. Excellent. Okay, well, Sean, Grumpy Game Dev, everyone else who was here tonight, thank you for hanging out with me while we code. Always appreciate the chatter. Makes the stream a lot more engaging for me and for everyone else. I see you guys chatting and I can respond, and it's more fun that way, right? And so, talk to you later. I'm not going to raid anyone. There's just 2 of us. You guys can go where you want. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.